What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Danny the Bull, back with another live stream, and it feels like I've been live forever. I've been busy the last few days pumping out some content because there's been so much to talk about, and it's been, good stuff. And I was talking to patient Hodler. Hodler's up in here. I was talking to Hodler earlier. I was on his channel. Go check that out and give him a sub if you don't already. And we were talking about how, nice it is to finally be able to talk about deliverables, positive things. For a long time, things that have been focused on what's not taking place and things like that. And finally, there's some big deliverables over the last month, specifically starting with VV versus Beta, which kicked off. Now, OMI utility. I was live on stream yesterday, and I was rambling on about something, and someone pointed out that they dropped news that OUP is set to kick off and is imminent. Now, it remains to be seen, obviously, how quickly that's implemented, but super bullish. It's reflected in the price, right? We saw a big push up for OMI. We had started seeing it's creeping up slowly on that VVverse news, going from the 0006 to like 0007 range. And then the OUP article dropped, and I was live on stream yesterday. It was a lot of fun. Turned into a 2.5-hour stream. It was like an OMI watch party, and it was cool. So we're going to talk about price action. God's Entry will be joining. If you're not familiar with God's Entry, he's a great technical analyst, very knowledgeable, has been doing it for years. He'll be giving us a look at the charts and talking about what he sees, where he thinks price could be going. I'll be talking about my main takeaways because they're not really related to price. All right. And as always, interacting with you guys. Let me know if you are in the chat. Let me know who's here. We already got 33 people in 2 minutes. And the first was Dive Jedi. He says, if you ain't first, you're last. So SoCal, I guess that means you're last. You were second this time. Shout out to SoCal, OMI homie. Justin, talking about my Dan Lee inspired thumbnail. Shout out to Dan Lee. Of course, Hodler's in the house. Go check out that conversation I had with him earlier. I've been on 3 streams. This is my 3rd stream today. I'm tired. My Collectibles invited me on. Shout out to him. He invited me on earlier today. I jumped on his stream for about 30 minutes. Then I jumped on Hodler. And now here I am with you guys. Chago, let's get this bread. JML, #1 influencer, is here. Is that referring to Cavell? Or that's that savage guy who just is trying to provoke people. Mara, what's up in the house? We got Russ here. You were right with the pullback on price, bud. Yes. So I'll be talking about the price real soon and give you my take before God's Entry comes on. I don't know what God's Entry's take on the prices. He reached out to me this morning and asked if I wanted to go live. I told him I already had a stream planned, but it would be awesome to have him jump on because I want to know what he thinks. And a lot of people think that, God's Entry, why I like him is that he's not committed to one scenario playing out. He maps out different scenarios with different likelihoods. And a lot of people say, well, God's Entry said it's going to 0004. He never said it's going definitively to 0004. He said that is a possible range, right? If we fall below whatever it was, 00055. And that would be like the next level of support because it's all about support and resistance and things like this. And so super excited to get God's Entry on here. We got Luke in the house. I can see your little Chewy. Yeah. We got Newkirk. What's good? Rigby, what's good? Roger, what's up? Live streams marathon. Yeah, Luke, man. Is this the real Savage in the house? What's good? Live streams marathon. Yeah, it's been a while. And I've been able to live stream frequently because my family's been away. My wife and my daughter, they're returning next week, so you might see a little less of me. I'm going away this weekend, so. But I enjoy the solo live streams now more than anything because of the interaction that we get. Sound money in the house, one word, and remember it well. Bitcoin dominance, correct, will wreck any alts next 6 to 12 months. Very important. So if you're not familiar with the wider crypto space and OMI is your main bag, it would be wise to learn about these things because they exist. Bitcoin dominance is a real thing. And the whole space is cyclical, and it's important to learn what the cycles are and learn what the possible outcomes are so that you're not blindsided, right? Because you see what tends to happen is we see big pumps like we've seen. We saw a 40% pump, and I'm already hearing people FOMOing in. And as an investor, I don't give financial advice, but as an investor, this is advice. You should come up with a list of rules for yourself, principles that guide you on your investing journey. So one of my rules is don't chase pumps. Don't chase green candles. And maybe it continues to run up and I miss out on something. More likely than not, it's going to retrace. That's what happens in crypto. You're prone to these big pumps, but then what happens? People take profit. And specifically with the OMI token, there are many people with many tokens. We're talking billions of tokens. And just as fast as that price goes up, it can come back down. So my point is, beware of FOMO, beware of emotions. Just like, and emotions work in both ways, because we just saw how difficult it was to buy at 0006, 0005. No, it was sitting there. People didn't want to buy. Didn't feel good. They were emotional. Some were accumulating. Jordan Riz in the house. What's up, Jordan? Jordan was accumulating. He has conviction. Others were accumulating, right? I picked up a bunch of OMI during this bear market. It didn't always feel good to buy it, right? And so that's the fear side of the emotion, right? When sentiment is down and you're fearful and everyone is telling you that it's stupid, that will hurt you because you're not going to buy at the best times. Conversely, you chase candles, you end up getting, in the short term, wrecked. Long term doesn't really matter, right? So just my take. We got 68 people in here already. I got some articles pulled up, some things I want to talk about before God's entry comes through. I'll also interact with you guys and your questions and whatever, go back and forth. God's entry is going to come in for about 30 minutes, 45 minutes, or however long he wants to spend in here. And maybe I'll stick around afterwards to chat. Hello from Germany. What's good? Already watched your stream, Patient Hodler, and happy to be here again. Thanks for coming through for that double header live stream number 3. Yeah, triple header, Pixel. Yeah, smash the likes, sub to this guy, go watch that video. We got Johnny Dunn in the house. What's good, Johnny? I had a great interview with Johnny Dunn about a month ago or so. And I loved it. Go check it out if you haven't already, because Johnny's someone who is consistent in how he thinks and feels. And a lot of people flip-flop and go back and forth on things, but Johnny's just like a feel-good guy, always positive, and a great voice. Let me share my screen. So here we go. So you see that we went up to, I think, all the way to almost got rid of a zero. We went to 00096. I woke up this morning and it was still running. It's since sold off. You see a sharp dump off here, sold off some more. My thinking is it might have some more juice in it. We're going to see how people react to that drop. And I do think it's possible that sentiment is strong and FOMO and people buying, and there's a lot of buying pressure, and that it's possible that we get rid of a zero. But I do think that if we eliminate a zero, it's going to face a lot of sell pressure. People are going to take their profits. And I do think we're coming back down. How far down is anyone's guess. What I would like to see happen is to form a higher low, which would be at just even to come back down here to this 0007 range, even if it can hold the 0008. But ideally, that would show some strength for me. Again, I'm not a TA guy. God's entry is going to come on after and in about 20 minutes. But I wanted to give my thoughts on it before he got here, just because I don't want to be biased or, take on his perspective. Those are my thoughts, and that's short term. Longer term, sound money is correct. In a bear market like the one that we're in, this part of the cycle, Bitcoin dominance usually goes up, and it eats up market share, right? And you also have a scenario that could play out where Bitcoin forms a double bottom. And a lot of people are expecting that because historically in pretty much every bear market, Bitcoin has double bottomed. All right. That means that it would head back to that $20,000 territory, even sub 20. I don't think it'll be a sub 20 scenario. That's me. A lot of people are expecting that to happen. Time will tell. I think that the important thing is that we understand that these are all possibilities that could play out. And as good as this feels and the euphoria kicks in and that FOMO kicks in, it's important to remember the bigger picture, right? And that is that there is a long time between now and the Bitcoin halving. Now, good news is, regardless of price, I don't care about price. To me, price is not important here. Price fluctuates. It's a short-term indicator or whatever. The fundamentals are the most important part, right, of this whole scenario. And to me, OMI is fundamentally stronger today than it was yesterday, last week, etc. That's because forever the big knock on OMI is that they don't care about the token. They care about VV. Look at all these, catalysts, and all these milestones they've been hitting for VV, and people have been saying, what about OMI? They don't care about OMI. And so the price can go back down, and people will say, oh, look, it dumped. You're going to get those people who talk about they're going to say that the price dumped, and they're going to throw it in your face. Right? This is what they're going to say. Price does not matter short term. What matters is fundamentals. And I've been critical of the team and of the project. I have always, I think if you watch my channel, you'll know that I'll say what I think and I'll call it like how I see it. And I've been critical. I made a video a couple weeks ago asking, will OMI miss the bear market? Will OMI miss the next bull market? And that was a legitimate thing to consider because they've moved at such a glacial pace with this token that, if they don't get things done, there is opportunity cost because they're going to get left behind. Right? So I talked about the potential of opportunity cost if they didn't deliver on what they said they would deliver. I mentioned a month back, I went on a rant in one of my videos and it got cavelled. And Cavell always freezes my face at the worst part. We did one of those things where he watched it and talked about it. And the whole point of it was voicing my frustration about the lack of movement on the OMI side of things, right? So The price will go up. Price will likely come down, in my opinion. I don't know. No one knows what's going to happen with the price, right? That's what I expect. And that doesn't matter. What matters is fundamentals. Are they accomplishing what they set out to, what they told us they would? Is OMI becoming a part of this ecosystem? And over the last month, I am a lot more bullish than I was. And that started with, on top of like the little things that they were getting done and the cadence that they were hitting in terms of the little deliverables, they got the VV-verse out in beta, and it wasn't, as far as we know, I mean, it wasn't because they rolled it out more, right? It wasn't glitchy and all that stuff. Now they got out, now they're getting out OMI utility. So it makes me more bullish to see the vision come together. Now, just to, again, put this in perspective, it's easy to get swept away in price, but take a look at XRP, which for years, the biggest catalyst for XRP was the SEC case, right? The lawsuit with Ripple. And everyone said it would send it to the moon, and it sent it straight up. Right here is the straight line. I remember it very well because I was in group chats with so many people as everything was pumping except for OMI. OMI has a tendency to do that, right? Everything was pumping. Solana was pumping, Cardano was pumping, a bunch of alts were pumping, straight line up. I think XRP might have did 100%, right? But look, over time, it settled back down. Now, it's not back down to here yet. Who knows? Maybe it gets there. We don't know. But the point is, this is why I don't buy on these days or in this time frame. For me personally, and everyone has their own thing, so do you. For me, I hit my target. I may add more, but I'm going to wait a little and let me see what happens. Now, Jordan Riz is thinking of buying more. Do you, right? Everyone, do you? That's just what I'm thinking, and that's just my approach to things. Let's go back to the chat before I move on to some other things. Let's see what we got in the house. We had over 80 people here. If you just joined recently, God's Entry is joining us in about 12 minutes. Let's see. Let me go back to the chat. I got to scroll up. So here we go. Uncle Mish, I'm watching. No FOMO for me. Don't mind missing out. We'll buy more OMI when I can see settling. Yeah, that's my approach. Rigby again, 100% pump and break even. Gosh. Yeah. So Jordan, so I don't know if you heard me, but when God's Entry said that it could go to, he said it could go to 0004. And that's the thing. Anytime someone says something definitively, discount them automatically because no one knows what they're talking about, really, right? And it's a red flag for me if someone says this is going to a certain price definitively. And that goes in both directions. There are people who say it's going to 5 cents by a certain time. They can get you wrecked just as well. Johnny Dunn in the house. Correct, Justin. You should never be emotional. It's something that you learn. But Jordan is continuing to do his thing. 215 million. Jesus. Felipe, will there be morning coffee session tomorrow? Oh, that's code Impatient Hodler. What's good, fam? Exciting times ahead. Stan, wow, I thought Johnny bolted. No, Johnny's been here. He's been active on Twitter. He's been working. Thanks, Johnny. Appreciate you. We got Unk in the house. If most people are buying to stake. Yeah, so here's the thing with OMI. One of you there are many reasons why I'm bullish on OMI, and I express them. I'll continue to express them. And in this video, maybe I'll get to some of those things. It's important to balance it out with the other side of things. And one of the flaws, one of the downsides of OMI is that there are a small percentage of people who own a disproportionate amount of tokens, right? You got people who own billions of tokens. Jordan owns a lot of OMI, 215 million, but there are people who own 10, 20 billion OMI. That's a lot. Now, I do think, so that makes us vulnerable if those people decide to dump all at once, right? Now, of course, they could do over-the-counter sales that won't affect anything. They could also dump on the market. It wouldn't be in their best interest to dump all at once, though, right? Because they won't get those orders filled. Point is, be aware of, the great things, the good things that are bullish, and also the things to watch out for and that you should monitor, because those things could also impact where the price goes long term, what the barriers will be. Because if this token gets to 1 cent, 2 cent, 5 cents, and someone has a billion tokens, they're so rich. They can, they'll cash out. So there are going to be these key psychological levels along the way. Back to Unk's point. But yes, staking will have an effect. Because anytime you take coins out of circulation, it's going to do something to the price. And someone did some mental math. I don't know if it was SoCal on here yesterday talking about, if a certain amount of people staked at 10 million OMI, it would, I think it was like 30,000 people, which is a stretch, right? But just bear with me. If only 30,000 people can stake maximum OMI. Okay. But even if you get a fraction of that, it's going to help in terms of price action. But more than that, the staking mechanism is going to push people to buy and incentivize them and give the token utility, which is, again, that's the milestone. That should be what, everyone is celebrating. Price will go up, price will go down. And speaking of price, we got God's entry here. So we'll chill with God's entry, and then I'll come back to you guys. We'll see how long he wants to hang out with us. Let's see. What's good? Can't hear you. Can you hear me? I can't hear you.
Go.
Here we go.
I don't have my normal setup here. I'm still traveling around. So
nice. You've been
got my laptop.
Doing a little traveling. You've been good?
Yeah, man. Everything's good. Just trying to enjoy the summer while you can.
Nice. Anything good? You anywhere nice right now?
Yeah, Ocean Casino. I hang here because let the wife and the kids to go to the beach and a pool and whatnot.
Nice.
And I get a little peace and quiet. Like a trade.
Thanks for joining us.
No problem. You might see OMI going crazy here.
Yeah, a lot of people have been interested in hearing your take on things, obviously. So do you want me to share the screen and we'll get started?
Yeah, I got a few charts I pulled up. You can start. That's fine. I was just in a trade. I had to take care of that before I came on.
Cool.
You got the chart up?
Yep, chart's up. You see it?
All right. We got OMI here. So a few weeks ago that we had bullish divergence on the weekly here. Let me get rid of this. This green line here sloping down, and the green line here on the RSI sloping up is bullish divergence on a weekly, which is pretty strong. Currently, right now, we don't take out this high by the end of the week, we'll make hidden bearish divergence. From a TA standpoint, just to keep that in mind. Like I said,
so what is that level that you're talking about?
Like 0012. Please, you want to take this level out here? We want to get above here.
So the next major area of resistance then the 001?
Let me pull up a different chart. I was just showing from like a zoomed out view what we got to do this week to negate this bearish, this hidden bearish divergence. Let me go to the next chart. And I got some interesting things here I can show you. You're in the Discord. I kept showing everybody we had a triple bottom here.
Yeah.
Pretty strong. You know, let everybody know that. And I let everybody know my initial plan before the news came out was to, when it comes above here, 0007 and retest, buy right here. For my plan, for what I'm doing. Do some kind of neat here. This is my buddy's liquidation tool. You see these lines right here, the yellow line and the white line?
Yeah.
This candle here with this long wick tells a big story here. So somebody was heavy short right here. And once we came up to this level here, we took them out and we came up here and took the other order out. So that's what gave us
that's why we pushed up.
Well, it has something to do with it, of course. Not everything. It helped once we got him out the way, or whoever this was.
That wasn't Jordan.
Right.
He's never short.
But right now, what I'm seeing is 001. We got, I go like this. Here, let me do a couple other things so people kind of see the possibilities. If I take this high here, move this low. This is the golden pocket right up here. 001. We just hit the 0.5 retracement. We just hit that. We got rejected from there. So we should
The
come
0.5 is what, 9.5?
Yeah, 009 roughly.
Okay.
So we just rejected from there. So I would like to see. I would like to see this happen right here. Like I said before, I'm down the zone. You make this so people can see a little better. I'd like to see this zone right here come to play and hold. I want to see the zone hold. I don't want to see us fall right through. That would not be good. That means we're back in this range again. It's the 0006 or 0005 range. So we want to stay out of that range. So we like to hold this as support right now.
That's above what, 0008?
0007, 0069 to 0007. So hard with these numbers. But yeah, I would definitely like to hold this zone right here. We're at the green shaded area.
And when would you like see some sort of confirmation and flip like a little more bullish? Like, do you wait for like the weekly close?
Yeah, I like to see the weekly time frame. Like once again, I'm not trading this. What's the volume right now? Do you even know?
I'm not sure.
You know, look, yesterday it was like close to 2 million. You know me, I really want to exchange before I can trade properly. But you know, other people are trading. I mean, I trade other assets. How many tokens we need for the staking?
So yeah, the staking, the max. Well, I don't think there's a minimum staking, but max staking is 10 million.
All right, so okay, yeah, I'm probably going to buy some. I'm probably when it comes down here.
So you'll buy the stake.
Oh yeah, of course.
Because right now, do you have an OMI position?
I have none whatsoever. But I also sold 95% ago. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I have a different mindset. I'm not gonna. I'm just trading. You know, so I'm not gonna be investing until we get closer to the halving. That's been my plan. That's what I'm sticking to.
Yeah.
Just works for me. But I did tell everybody down here this is a nice base. I was letting everybody know, don't go by what I'm doing. This is nice long term.
And those triple bottoms are bullish because it's showing strong support, correct?
Very strong. Yeah, very strong support.
So 0006 was very strong support, built out a strong base over there. And typically when you have a strong base like that, and you get like a strong catalyst, correct me if I'm wrong, but you tend to see those big pushes up, right?
Right. Yeah, well, even here, I can make another pattern here that kind of played out. It's kind of tough with the news because everybody just probably bought, but a lot of it was taking out this guy right here, whoever this person was, rather, with this long wick. Once they got taken out, because these are showing liquidation. So once he got taken out, that caused the price to just elevate, like that impulse up. But we do know a little pattern here. Did something like this, an ascending triangle. Kind of what we did. Target for that was basically from here to here. Oh, let's see. So this target was already reached. So the target for this was right there. Kind of where we're at right now. That was a target for this pattern. So we already hit the target, but I'll be honest with this triple bottom here. I'm going to be careful what I say, but I don't believe we may go lower than this. We may fall back in this range or something bad happens, but this looks like the accumulation range to me. So if we do fall in here, I may start picking somewhere up.
Yeah.
Just
Would you
to,
be buying?
just to be transparent, you know what I mean?
Yeah. But right now you wouldn't chase this candle.
Absolutely not. Not from a trading perspective. And honestly, how many weeks? For me, I'm going to wait a couple weeks to see how much everybody buys, to see what happens. Let it calm down a little bit. You'd never want to buy a pump. Let me show you something else. Actually, if I open this up, let me get rid of this fib.
How does that 2 million volume compare to like normal OMI trading?
I suppose it's a lot more. I mean, basically, I have all buyers right now.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is wash trading on exchanges as well. Not a lot of it, but some of it. What I was going to say here, this guy right here, there's somebody that longed right here. I'm using this tool that I have here, but somebody longed right here. 000675. And that's this little, I don't know if you can see it, these pink little dots on the bottom. This is where he opened his long. So just that one particular person, or whoever it was, currently they're at 5x leverage. They're up 125% right now. So I would think they're probably going to take some of that money. That may help the price come back down. What we don't want to see is something like this. This is something I was looking at as well. Another indicator. All right, it's kind of color coded. This is made by my buddy. He has his name's Rainbow. It's Rainbow Trends. He makes an awful lot of indicators, and they work very well. Color coded. Obviously, when you see the pink, it's the peaks. You just want to go back in time and see how well it works. You see every time we hit pink here. Yes, we can go up a little bit more.
What is the color based on? It's based on like volume or certain indicators?
Yeah, I'm not sure the parameters. If I did, I wouldn't discuss it because he made the
Right.
indicator. But
Right.
well, I can say it works very well.
Okay.
Like I say, look, when it turns pink, it's usually a top. So I definitely wouldn't buy right now.
And right now it's pink.
Yep, because look, it's pink. We sold off. Pink, we sold off. Pink, we sold off. Right now, it's pink. Yeah, I definitely want to be trying to buy that right now. Definitely let it cool off.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean we're not going to go lower than this. I'm just saying, like, this is a pretty strong range right here. I like the way this based out. This is a bullish pattern. Even here, when we drop lower, we go like this. Say where we fell out of this. This is a bearish pattern. It's ascending up.
Yeah. You fall out of the wedge.
Yeah, so you can expect this to go down further. This is bearish. This particular pattern right here, this is just an accumulation range as far as I'm concerned.
So you think we come back to the accumulation range?
Yeah, anything's possible. You still got to remember we have the overall possible recession that should happen. Generally happens within 12 to 18 months after the inverted yield curve. And the actual, the decline doesn't start until it uninverts. Basically got to watch a 2-year yield or 2-year treasury rather.
Now, Bitcoin has never experienced a recession.
Nah, this is very interesting. I'm actually getting conflicting signals right now, quite honest, in the broader markets. I can show you something with Bitcoin. If you want.
Sure.
I was going to be honest here, just tell you how I think.
Yeah.
I think it's a great base right here. You got to realize we pumped from the bottom to the top, whatever, almost 70%, 65%. So we have some room to drop now. That was my concern. If the rest of the market drops, where are we going to go? Lower. So at least we pumped up in case the market drops. Maybe we just come back in our range.
Right. So now that could take out the potential of, you had talked about a 0004 range being possible, because if the market comes and you're at 0006, what's next?
Right, because when we're in a range like this, I'm going to tell you what the number is if we break out and we break below, because that's what you do when you're a trader. You got to know where the price is going, so you have, some sort of targets and whatnot. But now that we're above this range, I'd like to see a weekly close above 0007 here, 77. We get a weekly close above here, it would be very good. Anyways, that's what I like to see, so we can stay up above this original range and stay in this new range that we're in. That's what I like to see. More upside.
Yeah. Do you want to talk? So, do you want to talk some macro? We got like another 20 minutes or so together. Do you want to
Right.
talk overall, like Bitcoin space stuff, and then circle back? I know the last stream we did together,
Okay.
you talked about possibilities for next cycle for OMI. People always love that stuff. I don't know that everyone here saw that, so we can circle back
Sure, no problem.
to that. But first, we talk about, the halving and the next cycle as if it's a foregone conclusion. However, one of the things that I've been thinking about lately is that Bitcoin has only existed in very friendly environment, right? Money printers have been on for the last decade. After the housing crisis in 2008 and the Great Recession, money printers have been on. Interest rates have been historically low, went to zero in 2020. I'm just going to mute you for a second. Went to zero. They were giving out free money, literally giving out free money. And so Bitcoin has only known this type of environment. It's going to be really interesting to see what Bitcoin does next cycle under possibly, not ideal circumstances. If there is a recession, if they hold rates at a certain level, longer than expected. So I'd like to hear your conflicting thoughts on Bitcoin and what the charts are telling you.
All right. Well, I'm getting conflicting signals TA wise.
Yeah.
But I think the same. It's very interesting times we're in because I've always believed in Bitcoin. I've always believed in crypto, and this is kind of why I was made for situations like this, from my perspective.
Correct.
So I like to see it succeed, obviously. But from the last COVID crash, we saw even gold and oil, everything dropped. So when there's panic in the market, everybody panics in every asset. That's something we can take from that.
Yeah.
You got to keep in your mind that people get scared. They sell everything. Not only that, they get margin called. So the bigger guys, they have to sell assets to pay for their margin. So it's like a chain effect. Just keeps going and going. But this particular chart here, this is the hash ribbons. I don't know if you see the chart, but we got a buy signal this week on the hash ribbons. This has only happened, I think, 15 times in history. And generally, it's a good buy time, buy zone to accumulate. You go back in the history. Usually, it's the time to start accumulating. And we never usually go below. You can see every time we had a buy signal, we generally don't go below too far from when that signal fires off. Like this is the beginning of Bitcoin. But these signals work really good after the halving. It's like you just take it. If you watch, we'll go in the future here. We'll see every time we get that signal after the halving, these red lines represent the halving. So we go up, we get after the halving, go up. This is a bear market, kind of like we did in, you'll see in the current market. It kind of called the bottom. Then we got a couple more buys, and then off we go. This basically means the miners are stabilized right now. They're not shutting off their rigs to pay their, pay for bills and whatnot.
Right.
Another one after the halving. That's usually the beginning of the bull run. Boom. We got one here back in 19. We got a nice run. As you can see, we did come back down with the COVID crash. We took a couple to stabilize the market here. We went sideways for months and months and months. Not too many months, some time. Then off we go. Had one here. Last bull run. We called the bottom, basically. We had one before, just not too long ago. It was around 17K. And this yellow line represents possible halving here. It's around April, May. And this other indicator here is the NVT. I watch this on a weekly basis so I can see what's going on. It's when this line here, this green and red line, when this comes up above this 40 line here, we get a really big impulsive move, generally like 30 to 60% move. And whatever color it is, when we get above this line, that's the direction we're going. So this is kind of bullish if you ask me for Bitcoin right now. It's tough to say that, but that's what's lining up. But at the very same time, like traditional markets are looking very bullish, like we're topping out almost.
Bearish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I mean by conflicting signals. I'm getting bearish reads in traditional markets and somewhat bullish reads here in Bitcoin.
But is that also, so maybe perhaps they're not totally correlated, right? Because I think right now the expectation is they should be correlated, but
they're somewhat correlated.
The stock market has gone back to near all-time highs. But
yeah, but there's only like 7, 8 stocks pulled up the whole market.
I know, it's true.
That's not healthy at all.
Yeah.
So this is my bullish perspective on Bitcoin. This is very bullish, but if I open this up a little bit, we do have another pattern here. Probably showed it in a couple of groups. Somebody else brought it up. We do have a head and shoulders here. We do not want to break this trend line. When you break this trend line, it's a problem. I can draw it out a little bit here, roughly. I have a head and shoulders pattern. So we break this line. We do have a gap fill around 20,000. So we could come all the way down here. So we don't really want to lose this trend line right now. I mean, we have to play it level by level. Let's see, around 24 and 25K is support. Right about there, like 25.2. Roughly a support. We just play level by level, but if we break this, there's a good chance we can keep on coming down.
Yeah, and then generally speaking, that would also, affect the price of OMI.
Essentially, but now we got a nice pump, so now we have some room.
Right.
We didn't have room before.
Right.
Now we have some room to come down and still kind of stay at the same base. Kind of what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Go to the SPY. Like Apple, we'll go to Apple real quick. You want? It's pretty much, most of the money in the market's in Apple. I think it's Apple, Amazon, or whatever it is. I forget which one's one of those 7s, but we have a big gap right here. We already broke this trend. So you can see what happens once you break a trend. That's how I called the top out. If I go back here, let me go to this chart. Right chart. Like I traded OMI multiple times on the last run. Is that the right one? Forget which chart it was. Anyways, when you see this trend line break like this after a long run up like this and a sharp impulse like this all the way up, it's generally a top, like you can see here.
Yeah.
Come back, just what it is. We have a gap here, had a gap here. So markets like to fill their gaps because there's orders there. So if they're going for liquidity, thinking we're going to bounce here and then run our way back up to where we left off because there's a big gap here. We'll probably top out, or that's where I'll be looking for the top for Apple. They all kind of look like that, even the video. Let me go to the SPY. The SPY We have a gap right there where the arrow is. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah.
My trading chart. We have a gap here, so we had a gap here as well, like this 4,400. So it kind of lines up with Apple that we could actually bounce back here and come back up and fill this gap. So we're either going to stop there or make a new high. We're already building bearish divergence on the weekly and a SPY. It just looks like exhausted to me. I mean, if we're going to make new highs, I guess we could.
But you don't expect it based on that.
No, because we generally get the uninversion within, like I said, 12 to 18 months. I think we're in month 9 or 10. And I've been kind of thinking like September, October, kind of like we generally have crashes, but that's our big corrections. Just some of the major crashes happen in those months. Being cautious. That's why I don't want to be too bullish yet. We're not at the halving, and a lot can happen between now and then.
Yeah.
Still a lot of time.
Right. So, which is also that speaks back to what I was saying earlier. Be patient. Don't get caught up in emotion, and you see charts move up and down. And if you're patient, you'll have opportunities.
Yeah, you just gotta be patient. I mean, the cycles run with the halving. I mean, you want to keep using the cycles until they stop working.
Right. So, what is this here that we're looking at?
This is total 3. These are all the altcoins excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. We're in this descending channel, which is actually bullish. Keep rejecting from this trend line. We'll really get bullish on altcoins until we can get all this support and start working our way up. Maybe we hold this trend line for support. That's when altcoins should go up. That's what I'm thinking. If we just keep trending down, we keep bleeding out into Bitcoin, basically.
People want to see what you think of OMI next cycle. Some people are asking if we think it can go to 10 cents, etc. It's always fun to speculate.
All right.
No one knows. No one right. There's no crystal ball, right? But
yeah, I don't have a crystal ball. All I can do is make targets.
Yeah. Yeah. But what are your targets?
We'll go on OMI start. Let me get this off. Start. Okay. Oh, that's what I was trying to show you. We had this, this is how I sold off OMI the first time. I caught this run up here. Sold up because we broke this trend. So I just took my profit. Yeah, I got in early. I bought a little bit before we got to the bottom, but just trying to show you this TA stuff works. Go take this top here. What did we do before? Let me find this. Take some of this off. So cleans up my screen here. No, all right. Clean up the chart a little bit. All you can really do is pull fibs. I mean, that's the only way you can project out that far in advance, like TA wise. Usually it goes to the 1.618 or the 2.618. So you just gotta realize that we have a long ways to go at this point. That's why looking from a long-term perspective, getting OMI down here is going to be easy call. That's why I said for the last couple of months, this is a great place to accumulate for if you have a 2 to 3 year outlook. But you go all the way up here. Before 1.618. Put a price label there so you can see it. That would be one target.
And what's that at? What's that price? 1.5?
This is like, for the top.
Hmm.
If we break the top here, which we generally should, only stays relevant, stays on top 200. By the time we get to the next bull run, stays, I think we're fine to break this all-time high here for sure. You have to get price discovery after we do that. You got to use these fibs to kind of figure out where price could go. That's kind of what I'm doing here. So if we break this all-time high right here, go into what they call price discovery. These fib levels are kind of where price can go. I really want to call any more past this because it's a deficit at that point. So 2 cents, 3 cents, and like 4.5 cents. That would be my targets. That's be my take profits.
And along the way, so a lot of people talk about take profit zones, right? In terms of looking out long term. I know we talked about this last time. We talked about the importance of layering out the same way you layer in.
Correct. Like right now, you should have a plan. And then after that, you can be a little bit more risk adverse with the rest of the take profit.
I think we didn't hear that again. So last thing I heard was right now you should have a plan.
Oh yeah, you should have a plan before it's before it happens. You actually do it. If you don't, emotion takes over, then you won't actually follow through. It's very important to have a plan.
And that plan is different for everyone, right? So
everybody has different, risk tolerance, goals. They have different price points. We have people that bought the top. We have people that are stuck at, 008. So those are very important levels. I would say we're going to get a nice pullback here. This is the golden pocket on this fib. Once we ever get up here, people are going to be selling off right here in this zone right here because they're just going to want to get out. People might get disinterested. You don't know, whatever reasons they have. But then this top is going to be a sell point.
that's the last all-time high.
Correct.
Yeah. And that's what I was saying also is that there are key psychological levels that people are going to sell at. And there are so many people with a lot of tokens that we need to be mindful of that once we're in the next cycle, because it's easy to get caught up in euphoria and it feels good every day it's going up. But be mindful of those key psychological levels that we're going to have to break through.
Yeah. So, I mean, just so to speak, if we do happen to, in the bull run, we blast above these levels really strong. You can see we have these blow off tops. It does the same thing every time. Don't think it's going to keep going. It's just not. People are going to take profit.
Yeah.
We can. I mean, we can. Depends how hard we go. And one time we go. What time of the market we actually go. If we catch the bull run early, we don't want to. We want exchanges right now to catch that bull run.
Yeah, for sure. Do you have any, say it again?
Yep, those are my targets. I erased them for you. Look at another screen. You see those targets, or did my internet cut out or something?
Yeah, no, I see them now.
Yeah, there's the targets for next bull run. Once we break the all-time high. Anything past that, you're just, like I said, guessing.
Yeah. So that's God's entries perspective. For next cycle, around 5 cents, right? Is that top level that you project out to if that plays out?
I would definitely be taking profit at these levels. If I'm in, I will be. I can tell you that. I may save a little bit, for the next cycle, because if you do buy some down here, I mean, and you have it left over from these prices, you might want to save that so you can add to it on the next cycle. It's like a small, nothing crazy. because it will retrace 95%, like you can see. They all
It
do.
will.
They all
Yeah.
do.
Yeah. Historically, this has been the cycle, right? So people need to learn the cycle. This is what happens. You get these, this is how crypto works. And until it proves otherwise, that has to be our
Yeah.
expectation.
Yeah, you got to stick with it until it doesn't work anymore. Follow the trend. And here's another thing I wanted to show. I believe this is Bitcoin dominance, right? I like to see Bitcoin dominance around this 58% before I believe, we're good to go. Because we have, once we retrace, that's when all the altcoins go up. That's another thing I'm looking at as well. And one other chart I'll show you real quick. This is ETH BTC. I believe we're going to come down to this trend line here. This trend line needs to hold. This is another place where you want to buy some altcoins. Once ETH gets down here to this trend line. This is Ethereum compared to Bitcoin. So basically ETH is bleeding out into Bitcoin right now. They all are bleeding into Bitcoin. We do have some outliers, but that's, it's just, you'll have a few, but generally most of them are bleeding out.
Yeah.
Pretty much all I got chart-wise, brother.
Thanks for coming through. Anything else you want to share before you leave?
No, that's it. I just want to jump on real quick because I know you like to see what's going on. I don't want everybody to start buying the top again. Let it calm down a little bit.
Yeah, it's always good to hear different perspectives, and then everyone forms their own opinion, create their own strategy, but always take in as much information as possible. And TA is a part of that.
Oh yeah.
Well, thanks, brother. We'll catch up soon.
All right, brother. Have a good night. Take it easy.
Later. So, yeah, a lot of people believe in TA, some discount it, but regardless, the point that I was making earlier was price doesn't matter at this time to me. What matters is fundamentals, and fundamentally, OMI, VV, they're stronger today than they were last week. I'm going to go back to here. So the team, I don't know if you guys saw this. Team released OUP volume 2. And I'm happy. I didn't do a deep dive here, but preliminarily looking at it, I was happy to see it because I think there was a lot of fear from people that they would bastardize the OMI utility plan, right? And incorporating it into MCP, and that OUP would be completely overshadowed. But it seems like, everything that was there is still in play. You got crypt, and I don't know what they mean by primary activities and secondary activities, but crypto to gem, OMI to gem, OUP tickets are still there, right? Those are the bronze tickets, which all of these things incentivize people to buy OMI, and they give it the utility that we've all been waiting for, right? So golden tickets, which are big because they pretty much guarantee you to hit a drop. And I need to refamiliarize myself with this, but super dope. A big precursor to this, obviously, was the wait list. And so while we're all waiting around, and sometimes it's important to remember that they have certain things that they need to do in a certain order. And OUP and MCP are predicated on them getting waitlist out of the way, right? And so big ticket items, OMI to NFT still in play, OMI to accessory. And I think in one of these, I think it's the OUP tickets, they mentioned VV versus land redemption. So people were worried, and I was also questioning, are they going to bastardize the OMI utility program as it is merged with MCP? And from first look at it, it seems like they're committed to the utility program. and the initial use case there. So I'm liking what I see there. I bookmarked some stuff that I thought was interesting and notable. Here, the OMI, if you look at the OMI webpage, the simple detail they added the OMI token next to OMI. So, and this is very small, right? And for me, it's interesting because it signals now a commitment to the OMI side of things, because forever they never mentioned it. And they wanted to make sure that utility came out. So to me, them including OMI next to OMI, it signals that they're moving. Javier Torres posted this poll. Happy to see VV double down on their commitment to integrating OMI, but this is still just an article, one of many. They always move price. No legit reason for this article unless the release is imminent. 30 days grace period is reasonable. So this is also interesting because it's true. They have released articles in the past, right, and waited a long time. This time feels different for me. It feels like it's imminent. I think perhaps they've learned from that. But what's also interesting is you have a lot of people who have been waiting and watching and skeptical. And Javier is one of those skeptical people in the community. He's always, prodding and asking questions. All of these people who have been on the sidelines are going to get back on board, right? And so, again, it's pretty bullish. Also bullish. So if you've been watching my channel lately, I had Sanjay on, of course, a few days ago. And Sanjay, to me, is a good symbol of the people that OMI, that the team needs to bridge to the OMI side of things, because he is someone who's put a lot of money into the VV side of things. He's bought a lot of collectibles. He only held 4 million OMI, all right, last week. Once he heard about the utility program, he went and completed his stack, and he got up to 10 million so that he can stake. And he asked this question: are you an OMI homie? Are you ready for OUP? Yes, we'll join with Max OMI. So 322 people voted. Almost half said that they will join with 10 million OMI. 35% said they will join with some OMI. Others are more skeptical. Wake me up when it starts. All right, so it'll be interesting to see if they're able to attract VV collectors and convert them into OMI token holders. And they will be able to do that if the incentive to buy, hold, and stake OMI is strong enough, right? And by the look of the program and what we've seen of it, I do think it is. Another point by VV Viral. VV is abandoning the OMI token. People who arrive after OMI as utility and is on exchanges probably will not care about the frustrations we went through, if we're being honest. Much like 2025 Tesla truck purchasers won't care about those who were promised one in 2021. This is also another interesting point, because I 100% agree with it. Once they hit deliverables, people aren't going to care how long it took, right? Most people. And they're starting to hit those deliverables. So again, for me, these things are starting to paint a bullish picture. Now, let me get back into the chat here. Jordan says, if I sold all my other crypto, I could go to, yeah, Jordan, maybe diversify a little. You know what I'm saying, man? You got plenty of OMI. But I don't think there will be time. OMI going to pump before that. Yeah, and the thing is, if you already have like a great bag, you're fine. If it does well, you're fine. And if it doesn't perform as expected, you're still fine, because a little diversification is always a good thing. Rigby, why OMI didn't mention the OMI Tiers award during the community update? Yeah, and I don't know. Obviously, so here's the thing. They have their reasons for doing things. I've been vocal about my desire to see them communicate in a certain way, specifically on the OMI side, because for a long time the narrative was they don't care about OMI, which I've never believed. I always thought that they care about OMI. But what people take from it, their lack of communication, is that they don't care. It's also important to note that we don't know the inner workings of like what goes on. And so it's kind of like, I don't know if you guys have seen that, the storybook where there's like a ground level perspective and then it zooms out and there's another perspective and you can see a better view of things. And then it zooms out higher and you can see an even bigger view of things. Then it zooms out all the way to the top and you can see everything. So we're like kind of here and they're over here. So they have a better understanding, obviously, and a bigger field of view. I would like better communication at times. I've said that. But again, I don't know what we don't know what goes on behind the scenes. And obviously, they have their reason for doing things they do. Yes, sir. Back. Appreciate the content. You think 10 cent OMI? Yeah, so I don't think 10 cents in the next bull run is not my target. I've always said 3 to 5 cents I think is possible. My thinking for that is I think could get to $7 to $10 billion market cap if I'm comping it with what Sand and Mana did last cycle. However, it's important to note that VVverse will be much more populated than Decentraland, right? Decentraland had no active users and it pumped to that level. We also don't know what the narrative of next cycle will be, right? A lot of crypto runs based on different narratives. And last cycle, it was the metaverse, right? And it was hyped by Facebook's conversion to Meta, which they now abandoned. So a question is, how will OMI be viewed in the broader market and which sectors will pump? It's impossible to say, right? Fundamentally, I think that they are in a good place because one, they're generating real world revenue, right? And most crypto projects don't generate any revenue. Most of them don't have any utility yet. And like it's all based on like promises of future stuff, right? Which OMI is now, they haven't had utility, but they're generating real world revenue that's quantifiable. We see that. They have a successful business. Now they have a strong community, and now VVverse just accentuates everything and kind of brings things together. So on the collectible side of things, now the collectibles are going to get utility. We're going to be able to use them. Integrate OMI into that ecosystem and give people a reason to buy and hold and stake and do all of those things, right? OMI to NFT, golden tickets. If VV scales, and David talks big numbers, he's got big ambitions. He talked 1 million. He wants their goal is to do 1 million in users. I think we have like 20,000 active. Maybe I have to go back to the VVFox data. Even if we went to 100,000 users in VV, that would do huge things. And then if a certain percentage of them staked max OMI or even staked portions of OMI, it would be big. I was talking to Mr. V from VV Vantage before this stream, and he started tracking how many people are bridging to layer 2, right? All this stuff is visible on chain. And I think yesterday was like 500 million tokens were transferred to layer 2. It's going to be interesting to watch how many people bridge to layer 2 to stake OMI. And all this stuff is, we can quantify it. We can really track it. So dope. Poppy, what's good, Danny? Bull Squad, thanks for being a channel member. Poppy won a prize last week from Sanjay. Yeah, recession is coming for sure, but not an election. And that's the other thing, is that we have an election year coming. So there are so many interesting things at play. One of them is that we're going to be in an election year. And someone up for re-election isn't going to want to run on a recession or on a, in an economy that is faltering. So does that put pressure on the Fed to lower interest rates faster than expected? We'll see. It's going to be interesting for sure. All right. And then the other aspect of an election taking place is perhaps a shift in, the SEC governance and who's in charge over there. It's connected to certain people like Elizabeth Warren. And so a lot of things that will be interesting to track over the next year. We got Dr. Strange in the house, All Things Strange. Check out his channel, producing content regularly. Jordan thinks 5 to 10 cents is possible if we can get some big exchanges. And that's the other bullish thing. So there are a lot of, I don't care about the price. Okay. OMI could retrace. I expect OMI to retrace. That's just my opinion. Others expect it to go up. Sona I saw his tweet. He had a price target of like 0017. Everyone's got their own take on short-term price action. We know that prices go up, prices go down. Short-term. That doesn't matter to me. What matters is fundamentals. And fundamentally, like I said, OMI is a stronger token than it was. A lot of people who have been waiting on the sidelines are now going to move over to this side of things. And it opens the door for exchanges. Because like I said, the team has their, like it or not, they have the order of events that they are looking to do things in. And I've been frustrated about the lack of exchanges. I voiced that frustration. But they said that, to me, it felt like moving goalpost, right? Only because they said that exchanges were coming. And to me, that's where they went wrong, by telling us something was coming and then things changed, whatever. It's better that they don't tell them, they just spring things on us like yesterday. This opens the door to exchanges. Exchanges open the door to new people noticing the project, the token. People will find OMI on Binance and then say, what is this token? And then come to Vivi, right? And it opens the door for them to, we talk about marketing a lot and how they should market. I think that there should be like a multi-pronged approach. And one of those should be crypto. And, I found Vivi through the OMI token. So getting on big exchanges opens the door for more of that. Energy in the house. What's up, Energy? Energy did a great job in Twitter Spaces talking about his experience, his early experience with Viviverse and how he couldn't sleep. So I'm really excited for other people. Now they're opening this up to more people. One, it's bullish that they got it out and it wasn't like all glitchy, and they were able to have people speak on it in just after a week, right? Two, obviously the positive response, but now they're opening up to more people. So love to see it. If we all get really good at making Vivi OMI memes during the bull run, that will help. Yeah. Doge and Shiba both hit over 60 bill with no utility. Yeah, and I get that. And a lot of people will use Doge as, I guess, an example of a token going to like a market cap of 60 billion. For context, if OMI went to 60 billion, that would be crazy. right? That would be like, I don't know, 30, 40 cents. I forget if I'm not mistaken, maybe 30 cents. I don't know, 25 cents. But I don't think so. Doge is like a special case, right? Doge is a meme coin. They exist. They have their own set of rules. So I don't expect it. If they release the tier details in like a week, do you think we will get more pumping or already priced in? I think priced in. But again, we're going to see. Now, if they hit us with like exchanges or something else, you might see it go nuts. I think it will pump on like a Binance. I forget the numbers, but typically when a small coin is introduced on an exchange like Binance, it'll pump like a certain percentage. We're going to find out. Market cap also doesn't mean there is correct. What else we got here? Oh, that was for God's Entry. Sorry, guys, I didn't get to the charts. I didn't want to focus on other things too much. But next time, I have God's Entry on like once a month or so. Yeah, hit the like button. Appreciate you, Tito. Sorry I didn't get that question answered. If you didn't get VVverse access, you can get free trial access to the Cavernous software. Many of the features should be the same. And that's a good point also. If you're looking to find out what VVverse is like, check out Cavernous. And a lot of people discounted VVverse because they said it's a whatever, just like a copy paste thing from Cavernous. That never mattered to me. But you can explore and get an idea of what it's like. You can also go and create your Ready Player Me avatar, because that can be ported into VVverse. The question came up, people have been asking about, and if we'll be able to bring in external stuff into VVverse, and they said that we would be able to. If you watch David Yu's last interview with the French YouTuber Pop 101, it seemed like they're holding back on that stuff, porting your own NFTs into there. And I think part of that, so they want to have careful control that people aren't, putting stuff in there that's like just like a ripoff of, the partner statue or of like the X-Wing, right? I think Superstar Money and Living Aloha recently covered the ability to bring in like these, cheap, you can easily buy, a digital X-Wing thing that looks pretty decent. It's customizable. You can port it into Cavernous. And people are wondering if that would devalue VV NFTs. So it's going to be interesting to see how they allow things to be ported in. But my thinking is it'll kind of like be like rocking a fake Gucci bag. We had Dr. Profit up in here. Yeah. Still feel like IMX is safer, but OMI has more potential because of future catalysts. Think I'll go heavier in OMI for 2 years and maybe switch back to IMX. There's definitely, the smaller the coin and the greater the risk, the greater the reward. It'll be interesting to see how OMI performs next cycle. Rigby with expensive money, not sure next bull run will be as crazy as last one. And that's also, that's what I was talking about earlier. It was kind of like a perfect storm last cycle. It was kind of like the VV bull run, right? When there were discounted gems, there was the gem fraud thing that pumped things in there, a closed, cash out system. And we saw the collectibles go crazy. The real world was kind of operating under some similar circumstances. Free money given out in the form of stimulus, free money given out in the form of 0% interest rates. And you saw everything pump. I'm really curious to see what happens next cycle and how Bitcoin crypto performs under different market conditions. SoCal, VV Investments just dropped a video with links. Dope. And the OMI team on the OMI YouTube channel, they dropped a video of a tutorial on how to bridge to layer 2. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. It'll be fun to be on the ride for sure. If MCP doesn't give easy points gains, people will jump elsewhere. The same for 2025 as VV versus fully operative. Yeah. Thanks, Hodler. Appreciate you. I did a video on this. Haven't published it yet. Check out everyone. Support people making content. That's Jordan Riz. Support Patient Hodler. Support All Things Strange. A lot of great people putting out content. Oh, that's in terms of the utility plan. Yep. Mark, I think primary and secondary is referring to retail. Thanks, guys. It wasn't clear to me. Again, I haven't looked at it recently. Tickets allow you to participate on a reserved pool to getting yes. So the tickets, I think about what is what the best part of OUP is. I love OMI to NFT because it incentivizes people who are selling big ticket items, right? Like if you're saving a few bucks on $50, it's not a big deal to list in fiat versus or gems versus OMI. If you're selling a partner statue, secret rare Spider-Man, now you're incentivized to have that transaction take place in OMI because a small percentage puts more money in your pocket or gems in your wallet, however you want to think about it. So OMI to NFT, the ticket system I really like, and the staking system. And I also just love the fact that now we have all of these systems, right? And we didn't even talk about like burning from circulating supply. Yeah. They want to do away with the OUP title, right? And just call it MCP. And me and Hodler made a pact today in our stream that we're going to still call it OUP. That's funny. It was first OUP, which was both OUP and MCP together. Then Reese said they're splitting it into two. Yeah. They've been going back and forth a little on it, but OMI from sewers to daylight now. And this is, again, speaks to sentiment. Sentiment changes so fast. And, you know, when Paul Barron made his famous, now infamous statement of VV is dead, which will live on forever if VV, you know, never dies. Everyone's always going to call back to that. But one of the reasons that he said that, and one of the reasons why he took, so he's got a portfolio of metaverse tokens, and OMI was part of that. He removed OMI from that portfolio. One of the reasons was sentiment, because he has a sentiment tracker. And I like Paul Barron. I think that he's smart. I love his macro takes. That struck me as odd because anyone who really is in crypto knows that sentiment changes super fast. Bitcoin has been pronounced dead multiple times where people thought that it was dead and sentiment was down. China banned it multiple times. Sentiment went, you know, down. A lot of coins have been pronounced dead because of sentiment. And so for him to, you know, use a sentiment tracker to make a decision, I thought that was funny. Comey Twitter account always posted during tops. Inverse of Comey signals. Let's see what else we got. Danny bringing that anti-degen logic. I don't want the VV official Twitter to mention OMI until layer 2. OMI is easy to buy. And there you go, another thing. So someone asked, I think it was VV Viral, asked if will be able to buy OMI in the web app or whatever. And they said, yes, they're working on it. So they are sticking to the plan. And once people have an easier way to buy OMI, it just makes the whole thing easier. It removes a barrier to entry for a lot of people, specifically VV collectors. The tech-savvy people already have OMI. The new people would be the average user, correct, and non-crypto people. And this is something VV takes a lot of shit, right, for not being Web3, for not adhering to certain Web3 principles. And it's true, right? I agree. I believe in self-custody, true ownership. I think that we should have the ability to trade with one another. I would love to have transfers. I understand some of the reasoning behind like why they don't. But I want these things. Right? So I want a lot of these Web3 things, one interoperability. And people will knock VV because we don't have these things. However, what people discount is what VV's major advantage is in this whole space is how easy they've made the whole process of downloading the app, buying gems, buying, NFT/digital collectibles. Now, if they can do the same thing for OMI and make it easy for casual people to go on the app and purchase OMI, it's going to be bullish. And I think that's coming before an exchange. Maybe just in my imagination running wild, but OMI staking for tickets and MCP, Pokemon. Let's not run away with ourselves. And the other thing is, this stuff, it feels good, right? This stuff is bullish. It's great. But you have to keep things in perspective, right? There's still a lot of work to be done. They still have to deliver on many things. And as long as we see that steady progress, then, there's good things ahead of us, because that means that the plan is coming together. Good amount of EV users found it through OMI still, correct. That's correct also, but don't necessarily hold. And I've said this before, plenty of people, New Gen Tran being one of them, sticks out as a perfect example of someone who's got a ton of collectibles. He spent a lot of money in VV. He's got partner statues. He's got, secret rare Spider-Man. He's got all this stuff. And he's got $45 in OMI. And that's one person. There are many of them, right? And so that also, bridging that gap this is what we thought of, this is what we thought would happen eventually, right? And now you're seeing the pieces come together for that to take place, for adoption of the token within the ecosystem. So it's bullish. If VV collectors with 16K vault values sold half, bought 10 million, it might wipe out the remaining 50 billion only. And this is also an interesting thing that SoCal brings up. Once OMI is integrated and a lot of people are holding it, there's going to be arbitrage between the token and the collectibles. And you're going to have money flow from one sector. So you might have people make a lot of money on some drops, right? They hit secret rares, they make a lot of money. And segue and move that into OMI. Or, VV collectibles might move up a certain amount and you might have people sell that off to put it into OMI. Vice versa, the opposite could happen. OMI could pump, people could sell to buy collectibles. So it's really interesting, the dynamics that they're going to shift. To some extent, we see that because I did sell my collectibles to buy crypto. I don't think any will sell VV collectibles for OMI. So I did that, Jordan. And I don't know how many others did. But I saw an opportunity to become a whole coiner, which I'm getting close to. And I wanted to take advantage of this time. So I sold collectibles to buy not OMI. I bought some OMI with it, but I bought mostly like Bitcoin, Ethereum. But now I'm circling back to the collectibles things. So you're going to see the cycle of money flowing throughout both. Jordan could be interesting if altcoin bull run comes before NFT bull run. Also will be interesting to see how long these cycles stay in play. And, you know, whether or not people front run things, right? People expecting maybe Bitcoin dominance doesn't get to where we thought it would because people are front running the next cycle and loading up and accumulating more altcoins. Alto, if you send OMI to your VV wallet, do those tokens come out of the circulating supply? So no. Circulating supply, whatever that number is, I think it's like 300 billion, remains that. But a certain percentage will be locked up and effectively out of supply. But anyone can unstake at any time. So they're not out of circulating supply. They don't affect the market cap and how the market cap is determined. I think OMI will 15x from here to almost a penny before Todd gets to 15K. Going to be interesting to see. Mark, I'm excited for us to break out from, because price discovery, and there's it's also important to remember that there is a long way to go. All right, we're sitting here talking about all-time highs. We just got to 0008. But, you know, you see how that sentiment shifts so fast, right? We were down forever. And now we're talking about next cycle and all-time highs. Part of that is because we see the vision coming into play, right? Part of that is also the sentiment and stuff like that. Important to keep a level head, not get ahead of ourselves. Don't FOMO. Plenty of time. Just my opinion. Lack of exchanges. Thanks for your content. Thanks, Steve. Thanks for everyone tuning in. We got 109 people here, going an hour and 30 minutes strong. This is my third stream today. I jumped on my collectibles, patient hodler. Now here I am with you guys. So thank you all for spending time, because it's fun to engage in the chat. Can't wait for exchanges. Still not sleep. Energy still not sleeping. We'll buy more OMI too. Yeah. And that to me, so people like Energy who are vault builders on the VV side of things, now being incentivized to buy OMI. That's what we all wanted or expected. That was the thesis. To Harbinger, what's up, buddy? Correct, Soul. Doge had the most powerful, influential man in the world behind it, right? So we often use Doge, and a lot of people use Doge as an example of what could happen in crypto, and it's true. Crypto is irrational. That's 100% true. It doesn't behave rationally. It's like the Wild West. Things pump. They also dump. But I think it's also important to have, you know, realistic expectations, because the danger of expecting it to go to a Doge market cap, right? If you think it's going to 60 billion market cap, which is like 25 cents or whatever, and it's at 5 cents, and 5 cents ends up being the top for that cycle, then all you had were paper gains, and you're going to hold 95% of the way down, right? Because typically what happens is if something hits a high and people don't sell or whatever, and it starts going down, a lot of people don't recognize it as the start of the downtrend, and instead they'll buy all the way down thinking that they're buying the dip. So everyone's got to make their own plan, right? And their own targets, and yours might be 10 cents, 20 cents, whatever, right? Come up with your own plan, and don't forget that it's only a gain on paper, and it's never a bad idea. You don't lose money taking profits in a bull run. Remember 2021 when we talked about, yeah. love Vivi, love OMI. Yeah. Vivi does OMI going up trigger so many people. Why does OMI going up? Yeah, so it's interesting how the dynamics of the community are, but energy working also on 250th set. Damn, keep going, fam. Yeah, there are a lot of people with a lot of sets. It's pretty dope with a very low circulating supply. Why not? People hating on Cavernous and Viviverse is like someone hating on a sick website because it was built on Squarespace. Yeah, I don't quite understand. So people have this notion, or if they're comparing Viviverse or what they perceive it to be to like a AAA gaming experience or like GTA 5, it's apples and oranges. Not the same, right? I'll stay on for another 5 minutes or so if you guys have questions and stuff that you want, things that you want, topics of discussion. I thought, David, you wanted to that's funny. Mark Zuckerberg has reached out to Vivi looking for secret metaverse sauce. It's amazing, right? How Vivi has, so what it all boils down to is community, and you can't replicate it easily. I mean, Mark Zuckerberg has community there in Facebook. He's got people, but what Vivi has going for it is the strong community. All things strange. Yes, sir. Yeah, Reese is still around. Reese was on Twitter again, right? Reese said he's still alive. So perhaps people were calling for his, saying that he was gone prematurely. What's a fair amount market cap for OMI? I'd say 1 billion right now. Yeah. So right now, what's funny is that I think Sand and Mana are about 600 billion, 700 billion in market cap, which is more than twice that of OMI. And if you were to ask me, OMI should be, based on fundamentals and like uses, valued similarly, if not more than them, right? But of course, that gets into token brand and like recognition. It gets into them being backed by like Animoca. At least I know Sand is. It gets into the fact that they are listed on the most visible exchanges in the world, like Coinbase. I like Paul Barron. Jordan says Reese emailed him yesterday. Yeah, and I chatted with Reese through DMs not too long ago. He's still around. It'll be interesting. SoCal 10 mil will be out of reach if the price keeps pumping a lot. More people will be looking to get in if OMI dips. And this is, Mark, I'm going to leave on this note. Another interesting thing is I think people will recognize that it may be difficult to attain 10 million OMI during the next cycle. And if they are interested in staking the max amount in order to reap the benefits of OMI utility staking, that they may now be more inclined to accumulate over the next few months. So, I'm almost a moon boy right now. Definitely been more bullish. It's definitely more bullish seeing these big catalysts roll out. I like to see them. Important to keep in mind, like I said, I expect the price to come down. They still need to deliver. Specifically, they need to deliver on this program and then continue delivering on the cadence of things that they are rolling out. But Jordan says, we will make you never. I'll never. Maybe. We'll see. Try to stay even keel, man. But thanks to everyone for coming through. I will catch you guys in the next one. It might be next week. We'll see. I'm going away for a few days. Going to take a little break. But peace out. I'll catch you guys later.